Welcome to the Maverick Nation. Video start in 3, 2, 1. Intro start in 3, 2, 1. Never turn back, never turn back, never turn that way. No matter how life tries to face me, I turn the other way. Now and then, doors to spin, never turn back again. From this moment on, I'm moving on, never turn back. Well, hello, my wonderful, beautiful broskis, my beautiful Maverick Nation. Now, if you're wondering about this, I had noticeably my dad's just the way that, how to stop a nosebleed before it gets out of control. He, does the whole thing with that. Don't worry, nothing bad. Just a little bit of nosebleed PTSD because I used to have very prominent nosebleeds, especially one in California where I used to live. A very bad nosebleed in California. Luckily, I got like a freaking surgery done, and now the nosebleeds aren't nearly as bad. They are much easier to control. Uh, I may sound really freaking stuffy to some people, but that's only because I got something in where the blood was coming from. The whole nosebleed PTSD from that thing in California where I had that really, really, really bad nosebleed. So for any of you that are squeamish around like topics of blood and stuff, well, I may go on tangents at times in this video about my nosebleed, so you have been warned. Just, just telling you right now, you have been warned. So, yeah. I don't plan on taking this one out for a while. So, this is the Spider-Man one, I think. The next one will be Iron Man. So, yeah. This will be, I think, uh, yeah, I think Spider-Man comes from Iron Man. And hold on a second here, guys and girl. Okay, we're on part 3 now. And last time I checked, we ended part 2 off. Basically, you know, Japan now has its own freaking new ass freaking spectacular freaking Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man! Good God, I feel drunk. This is what happens with nosebleed PTSD. Whenever you have so many nosebleeds and certain nosebleeds that are worse than others, you just get this. I don't know. Is it just me, or are there other people who get like this? Whenever you have so many nosebleeds and some of them are so damn bad, you just get nosebleed PTSD after a while. And it can make you feel a variety of different ways whenever it happens. And so, yeah. Well, last time I checked, we left off with them being night. And everyone hanging out with freaking spectacular freaking Spider-Man. And everybody just wanted to hang out with him. He's such a freaking cool guy. I don't know how, All Might's supposed to feel about this, or Endeavor. Endeavor also had to admit it. The freaking spectacular Spider-Man's kind of cool. More like kind of freaking awesome. So, yeah, there's that factoid. So, well, where are we going to be here now? What exactly are we? Where exactly are we going to be in the timeline? Well, last time I checked. Okay, I need to check again. Good God. Hello again, my broskis and broskats of the Maverick Nation. And I just now got myself back together and finally figured out where we are at currently in the story, which would indeed be a freaking freaking here's the villains. So basically, Izuku indeed would wake up, and well, when eventually he would get to school, and well, not long after, he and them were doing their thing, all of a sudden, busted through the door, and he would just do that shit without. He would just do. He would just do that shit, even though he is doing the exact opposite of what he is saying he is doing. Which is one of the many reasons why I like All Might so much. He is literally like the tick personified, like if he was an anime character. Just every time I see All Might in his like buff form, it reminds me of the Tick. Only if he was like an anime character. Spoon! Instead of spoon, it would be plus ultra! Damn, he already does that sometimes. Whatever. Nah. Well, basically, All Might explains that they're going to go to like a model city type area, like how everything was being done whenever they were doing the exam thing. So yeah, they're going to go to another one of those. I believe City Site C was where they were going. And so basically, there were like two villains, two heroes. The villains were going first to plant the bomb, and their whole strategy thing. And then the heroes would come in after everything was done and set up by the heroes versus villains. It's more than one shade of gray, if you know what I mean. I mean, legit. Whenever All Might pulls out the freaking lot, first he pulls out the lot for the villains, or who's supposed to be the villains. Because the villains are supposed to go in first, so in this he's going to pull in the lot for the villains first. The villain team. Of course, Bakugo, because Bakugo. And, well, Shoto. Not Ida, freaking Shoto. Izuku would be thinking, well, I just hope I don't get paired up with any girls that I already said pass on. So Ochakos and whoever the freaking name of that invisible girl is. Please don't pair me up with them. And the stuff with the fanboy. Oh, shit. I'm fast. The meme lives. And it lives upon this channel. Anyways, he would just not want to be paired up with, Kirishima. He would not want to be paired up with the person he calls fanboy. Because, well, actually, All Might does is detail him something that Aizawa said. Basically, Aizawa said the person that got a lower score than Mineta, was the Invisible Girl. That person. That student. So Invisible Girl and Mineta, the two people that I think are the most useless, to be honest, are the people that are getting expelled. Making room for 2 slots for Class 1A. Hey, what do you know? It's going to be a while before those spots are filled, because, there's, a waiting period to, figure out what to do with things, because, you still got to think about 1B and general studies, where you're going to do with them, what's actually going to be going on, what the shit is gonna happen, the Jesus Christ, thing, fact, order eviction, Well, anyways, basically, we all know that it's Bakugo, and the other person being Todoroki. We know Bakugo Todoroki, but who is indeed going to be Izuku's partner? Well, holy shit, the Becky mushrooms. How am I supposed to explain this? I'm gonna make this really headcanon, and I'm gonna make this not make sense at all by the character I'm about to put in here, because they're not even from this anime, but they're still going to be in this because I think it's freaking hilarious. So, yeah, I think it would be freaking hilarious. Hmm. However, lands will be centralized. Basically, a new member for Class 1A, even though there's not two new members, they technically still need to wait for that spot to be filled. The spot that Milnetta was in. This spot that's going to be filled is going to be the spot where Invisible Girl was at. Seeing as she was dragged down with Medina, it only thought that it would be fair that the position where Invisible Girl was in would be filled first. And so whoever came up first would be in Invisible Girl's past position instead of Meta's. So basically that would mean they would have to wait just a little bit longer to make the freaking like Flabbergaster Masters. Basically, there will just be a giant explosion. And then all of a sudden, she is the one, Many Moon. Yes, that's literally what she's called because I cannot actually remember her name. Many Moon and Sailor Many Moon is supposed to be, Sailor Moon, her freaking daughter in the future. Her and Tuxedo Mask's daughter in the future. So, like, Time Lord shit. I'm gonna say that Mini Moon, I'm gonna age her up a lot so that she can actually be a part of Class 1A. That, considering all the weird ass shit that's in Sailor Moon, I'm gonna say that this is indeed a possibility for this to actually be able to happen. So, well, actually, that's kind of uh, that's kind of a lie. Yeah. Technically, the whole Sailor Moon thing isn't really that deep into the future. Technically, it's more or less modern times for the time in which, it was being aired as a TV show or an anime thing. So, just say that around the time that all this shit started happening is whenever, you know, let's just say it's like that far into the future that around the times that quirks started happening, you know, they just decided, like, you know, I'm just gonna call her Sabrina because I can't remember her other name. I'm just gonna call her Sabrina because I can't remember the other one. Sabrina and Tuxedo Mask because I can't remember his real name. So just Sabrina and Tuxedo Mask would basically be like, well, it would be kind of very important to, like, not have people freak out. I mean, the quirks are the norm now, so all of our magical holy shit powers that me and my friends and you have, like, legit. I mean, something needs to be done. We could just say that Luna is like a animal with a mutation quirk, which is why she kind of looks weird. And Luna would be like, whatever. Just like, ah, thug life. Freaking Luna 2021. Sons of Lilo and Stitch style. Well, anyways, basically, you know, Sabrina and Tuxedo Mask would have tried to do her best, and, you know, Sabrina's friends, which would also technically be Tuxedo Mask's friends, you know, the other Sailor Scouts, would be doing their damnedest to help her. You know, keep the secret about what Sailor Mini Moon's powers really are. Sailor Mini Moon going to be the next generation of actual Sailor Moon. And she's told this, but she's also told that she can't tell any of these quirk people that. Or non-quirk people. She can't let any of them know. Like, we already know that just they don't know. And it needs to stay that way, little freaking Sailor Mini Moon. My little jewel of mine. Oh, and you too, Tuxedo Mask. And, you know, it would just be, you know, just one of her many memories, Mini Moon. She would just be known as Mini Moon because, you know, Sailor Scouts, Sailor Mini Moon, it would be a little bit obvious, you know, to people that had any idea of what a Sailor Scout is. So just to make sure, just Mini Moon. That's what her name is going to. That's what people are going to know her as, Mini Moon. Oh, and as for if Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask and all of her friends slash Tuxedo Mask friends are still alive, well, that's a story for another day. Anyways, that's the whole thing. You know, basically, the reason why I mentioned the whole Mini Moon thing, Mini Moon is Izuku's partner, and her quirk is listed as Mini Moon. Yes, her name is Mini Moon, and her quirk is Mini Moon. Actually, no, her quirk would be listed as Moon Prism Power, because technically that's what Sailor Moon says. So, you know, Moon Prism Power would be the name of her quirk. Her name is Mini Moon, and the name of her quirk is Moon Prism Power. So, yeah, as I would be thinking, this is pretty peculiar. We pretty much know nothing, not even in freaking, like, Or it's freaking like English is beyond me. Like freaking durr. Basically, Izuku would just be like, Many Moon, if that's actually your real name. Leave Bakugo to me, and you just go over and, deal with the Todoroki kid. He's bound to be trying to protect the bomb if he's smart. And he'll probably try to do something to make it impossible for you to move. Pretty much declaring it that you've lost. So, try to look out for something bullshit like that. Bullshittery like that, you know what I mean? A little Mini Moon. And basically, Mini Moon will just be like, you have no idea what my quirk can do. He's the one who should be watching out. For me! And, Many Moon will just be going towards the area, and, like, the freaking stairs that they're freaking running through. Just a clothesline straight to the face. And it would just send Mini Moon flying and just tumbling down the stairs. Bakugo just sending a clothesline as he was going down. Taking Mini Moon with him. However, at the last second, Mini Moon would then just vanish, and then she would reappear on top of the stairs. She would be hurt, but not down and out. She'd still be able to do this. Bakugo would just be like, wait, what? Damn it. Never mind that. I gotta have my eyes on the prize. You're gonna pay for that, you nerd! And for what you did, making me look weak! You freaking nerd! And Izuku being like, dude, thug life, turd. Thug life, turd. And Bakugo will just be running and freaking at him. And will just go like freaking charge and just sending out several explosions. And Izuku would just be like, yo, dude, not cool. Like, legit, not cool. Like, he'd just be like, but if you're not gonna listen to keen words of advice, I guess I'm just gonna have to drop you with my own power. And Bakugo was like, yeah, you wish. And Izuku's like, oh, don't give me any ideas now. I'll make it too easy. And Bakugo's like, wait, what are you talking about? And then there's like Bakugo would be on the ground, just struggling to breathe. Bakugo would just be like literally gasping for air, and he would just be crushed against the floor. So much killing intent and bloodlust that would become released throughout Izuku's body. That's when we would finally reveal he would allow Bakugo to sense inside of him something. He had added something on from the last time they met. After doing his little patrol as Spider-Man and going back to his place, he had finally finished, you know, doing his whole thing with the carbonadium supply that he had. What exactly is that carbonadium stuff, you may ask? Oh, nothing but Wolverine syndrome, and in more ways than one. And one of them would basically be one of Venom's tendrils, like blades, coming from the freaking arms. I think the inability to freaking breathe is why I'm like this. Basically, like freaking blades coming out of every which area that Izuku would want, and then they come out of, wherever he wanted. Blades, but they wouldn't just be symbiote blades. They would be symbiote blades supported by like a carbonadium foundation. So they'd have the effects of a symbiote like made blade, but they'd also have the effects of a carbonadium blade, and that any type of healing factor that you may have, or healing that you're trying to doing like in the middle of a fight, that shit isn't just cut short, it's gone. Because that is literally Deadpool's thing with his carbonadium sword. Yeah, literally. Says no to healing factors. So, and taking freaking Homeless, like, just Bakugo isn't really able to get off of the ground all that much. And just as he is getting onto his feet, he would see the glistening glow of carbonadium just barely underneath the surface of the original symbiote blades extending out from his body, from Izuku's body. And then Izuku would ask Bakugo, "Now, what do you think, buddy?" That's where Bakugo would just be like, "I'm out." Just be like, "Shit." The reason why he would be that freaking shits is because his arm was actually interrupted. He was actually kept from surrendering. Because basically, whenever he tried to surrender, a blade got stuck through his arm. And then, he was sent upwards and then slammed into the ground until he was unconscious. Like freaking Loki versus the Hulk. Just think about that. And Izuku would just be like, "Next time you try to surrender after everything you've done to me, think before you do. Use your brain, Bakugo. And remember, I will never let you time like basically Izuku was losing his shit. He is so freaking pissed. He's like, Next time you go, try and surrender. Hope to God, pray to God that you get out easy. Think about this. Think about what happened this time that you tried to surrender. Hope to God that you were given mercy. Never, ever will I let that happen again. No, you will never get the mercy treatment from me, Katsuki. And that's whenever he would just plop Bakugo down, and his body would just go limp. So there would be no need for the freaking quirk, tape. There would be no need for it. And, Izuku would he wouldn't actually be hurrying. He'd just be strolling on up the stairs to where Moon is supposed to be. And then Moon would be like, "Oh, you're here." And Ida would just be unconscious. And Izuku would be like, uh... Jesus Christ. What did you do to him? Like, dude is literally knocked AF out. Just, what the beep even? Jesus. What did you do to the guy? And Moon will just explain, well, she knew his quirk revolved around speed because of the engine legs. So she kind of used his own quirk. Actually, no, it's not Ia, it's Todoroki. Well, basically, she explained, uh, Mertz. Basically, she would be saying, well, basically, she had, like, this person, they have a half and half quirk, but they only use one of those halves. The, well, hold. And technically, seeing as they're already, said to be such a great prodigy and all that shit, Moon could kind of already tell that they might actually be able to flash freeze the entire area the moment that Moon tried to get into the room. So, instead of falling prey to such a dirty freaking trick, is what Moon would call it, Moon decided to use, well, the Moon Prism power and freaking Moon Wand. Basically, through all that shit. Basically, if Todoroki wants to flash freeze the entire room to make it to where she can't move, well, I'll still, basically, I'll freaking sure duh. She would make it to where, basically, where she was frozen, basically, she would be in the right position to where she could automatically use her Moon Wand part of her quirk. And, well, exactly where Todoroki would be, just bullseye. An automatic, straight hit. And Todoroki fell for it. Todoroki Shoto, did not think that Moon would be able to think that far ahead. And know that, basically be able to read his mind like a freaking book. But, one thing out of this that Shoto did get, besides an ass whooping, is, well, after, Moon did her thing and, like, basic punches to her three, like, not, basically, she'd be punching her now frozen footwear until the ice broke and she could move, and that's whenever she would finally, before Todoroki Shoto could get back on his own feet, touch the device. The Heroes of One is what she would hear All Might say, and that's whenever the now staggering Shoto would get a surprise. And what kind of surprise do you guys think I mean? A surprise kiss from Minimoon. And then Minimoon would just say, "Shh. You should savor this. I don't usually do this that often with guys." Yeah, Minimoon would have actually kind of surprised herself a little in how freaking brave she was, just going out there and smooching on freaking Shoto. And, Shoto just... Everyone, the audience, basically, after that whole match, every other match that happened, well, technically they're all just a bunch of extra matches. They're just a bunch of extras. And so, really, the only important match would be the one I just talked about. And so, really, like I said, Minimoon would have already taken care of everything. And if you guys are wondering that, Izuku saw the smooch, or if, Minimoon would ever tell him about the smooch, well, actually, he did indeed see the smooch, just in time to see the smooch. And then Shoto Todoroki's body fall limp. Just from how much blushing he was doing, almost causing him to use his father's, freaking fire side. Everything afterwards. Well, basically, we should probably just skip over to the next thing. Yes, we still have more time. USJ attack. Basically, everyone would be on the bus, talking about their freaking quirks, except for, well, technically this would be Class 1A's bus, except for Shoto and Minimoon, because Shoto would have been unlucky enough to have sat by the window of someone who's eyeing that in particular window and wanting to sit there. However, someone already occupying the space, which means she would just have to be bus buddies with somebody. Freaking Shoto Todoroki. Shoto would just be like, "Oh shit, it's that Minimoon girl. Is she gonna be gloating about how she freaking beat me? Wait, smooch. Is it gonna be that?" That's whenever Minimoon would just be like, "Jeez, Shoto, you're just so tense." And would actually massage Shoto on the back. Like a good deep massage. To try to, release all the tense energy. Shoto would be thinking, why don't understand. Why are you doing this? And that's when anyone would be like, man, where exactly do you live where you don't actually understand the reason for someone doing this? I like you, Shoto. Is that not enough? Whenever we were doing the things that we do as pro heroes. Hey, Shoto, do you believe I could become a pro hero? I don't strive to be the number one or anything. I would just like to know if you think I could become a pro hero. I don't care which spot I'm placed at. I just want to know if you think I could ever be one. That's when Shoto, well, he would actually just say something which, after he said it, he would just be asking himself the whole rest of the bus ride through, why did he say that? And that is that he does indeed believe she can become a pro hero. That he's actually rooting for her. And respects her drive to become a pro hero. The only thing, freaking the tact evasion. Johto's freaking mind would be racing. What he just did and what he just said. Minimoon, though, she wouldn't exactly be blind to this. Blind to Shoto's feelings. And so, instead of just continuing to massage him, she would give him a big ass freaking hug. And then just poke him on the forehead with her moon wand. Right before the bus stopped. And, Aizawa would tell everyone to get the frick off. And that they were at the US jet. And, well, basically, you start just freaking canon with 13 doing her basically her own spiel. Then the doors would close behind them as a sort of several smoggy portals would open up right in front of them, as some guy with a bunch of hands on him, some smoky dude, and a giant bird monster, and some other people. Kirishima would say something about, fake villains, but then Aizawa would be like, no, these are real villains. And Many Moon would actually be like, Shoto thinks I can do it? Then I can do it. Basically, Shoto saying that, he thought that she could do it, that she could become a pro hero, would have reinforced in Many Moon's mind that she could indeed become a pro hero. And, save the world and do all the cool stuff like her mother, being Sailor Moon. Holy shit. things going to get tense. About to get really steamy up in here. As a sort of diversion, Shigaraki telling Nomu to just go after all of the kids until All Might got there, if he even got there at all. And, Minnie Moon herself would take that as an insult to All Might. Before realizing that, oh yeah, that's right, that's kind of Endeavor's thing, being, about that way about All Might. Sorry, Shoto. And Shoto would be like, why are you apologizing for liking All Might? Does she really like me that much? Was she really being that serious whenever she... never mind. These are villains, so we have to be serious about this. And well, I guess couldn't be a better time to be more serious. As, Shoto will just see, the, I guess, people looking for Minnie Moon's blind spot so that they could attack her from where she couldn't see them. Trying to sneak up on her. Shoto, seeing this, instantly flash freeze. Just flash freeze an entire area of where they were trying to, blindside Minnie Moon. And Minnie Moon would be like, Shoto, you saved me. And then everyone would just get teleported around because of Kurogiri's power. And actually, it turns out that Shoto actually does get teleported with Minnie Moon. And so more of the heroics do ensue, and even some moments where Minnie Moon has to save Shoto. So, yeah. Minnie Moon isn't completely useless, sometimes she has to be the damsel in distress to Shoto's knight in shining armor. So, yeah. Basically, everybody would just be scattered around everywhere. And that's whenever Izuku would have had enough. It would just be like seeing Aizawa trying to fight off all the villains, and even the Nomu at the same time trying to save the students. The Nomu would just manhandle that guy. Just get manhandled. And then Izuku wouldn't be too happy about that. To say the slightest things. Would not be too happy about that indeed. That's whenever, finally, something happened. Something inside of Izuku snapped. As all of a sudden, then everyone in the USJ would be able to hear, "We are Venom." And that's whenever the transformation began to happen. As all of a sudden, Izuku Midoriya would have been like he disappeared. And out of nowhere, would reappear someone they thought to be their spectacular Spider-Man. However, he looked more, like on the nose, guys. He would look livid as all hell, seeing what happened to Aizawa, and just that mindless abomination, creature, monster. No, they wanted to know what a real monster was. He would be glad to show them. All that would be needed was one last push. That's whenever it would happen. Shoto, seeing as Minimoon would be about to be attacked by, well, seeing as Kyogi was currently, done picking up the pieces of 13, yes, she indeed is going to be dead in this, but that's not going to be the final straw that broke the camel's back. The last straw would be Shigaraki wanting to freaking poke the bear and freaking, like, the symbiote is stars beyond, like, stronger than, like, any member of the League of Villains could ever even dream to be. So why would you want to piss it off? Well, Shigaraki didn't exactly know there was a symbiote that, Izuku was conjoining himself with the Venom symbiote and making himself the new Spider-Man. Didn't exactly know that's what he was doing. He didn't even know that Izuku was still here. For all he cared, he could have been dead. He didn't really care about any of them. And so that's whenever Shigaraki just decided, well, Shoto is, like, seeing some people with some very powerful projectile quirks, and he just gets right in front of Minimoon and is about to, like, create some sort of ice wall to protect her. But the ice wall wasn't strong enough to protect against all the projectiles. But Shoto, he just braces for impact, braces for all the pain of all the projectiles about to hit him, just so that Minimoon won't be hurt. Because, basically, like, UA would just be different because of this rift. Shoto, his normal self, is going to be a lot different from his normal canon self. Because Minimoon, the way she is, she would have changed a lot of things. Just given Shoto a whole new perspective on life. And given him a whole new reason to want to be a hero. And Shoto would just be there thinking, my new reason for wanting to be a hero, it's all forfeit if she. And that's whenever Shoto would just stop trying to think and would just get in the middle of everything. And, whenever the ice, walls start to crumble, he wouldn't care. He would just brace for impact of all the different projectile quirks that were about to hit him. And whenever Izuku would see this, Shoto having changed so much just because of little Minimoon and her, freaking awesomeness of her heart, she was able to freaking melt some freaking like with tidal weight strapped to its chest. like a freaking nuclear bomb. Just like mountains and mountains of freaking character development just dropped and freaking exploding like into fruition. Like so much character development, so much just that would have been gradually over time, all the way up until the sports festival, just hit right now. So yeah, quite earlier than what you originally be getting if this was the canon. But it isn't, so yeah. Izuku seeing that, Shoto is about to get murderized by a bunch of different projectile quirks, that is what ends up. Oh, Shigaraki, you fool. Basically, the dude's lifts, like, the dude, like, in his freaking ass, like, speed just isn't seeable sometimes. And by unseeable, I mean, dude literally appeared in front of Shoto so fast, it was like teleportation. Only you could see, like, the marks on the freaking floor, so that would be the only thing really telling you that it wasn't teleportation. That would be the only proof that you would have. And, well, seeing as he was that fast to where, like, the skid marks would be the only thing that you could actually tell that he was actually not teleporting, that he was that fast, and he would just be like, sorry, Shoto, but I can't let you do that. I can't let you endanger yourself. And he'd just be like, oh, come on, you're not scared, are you? Come at me. But, it isn't freaking like the man's freaking voice coming out here sounding like freaking like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Like, just scary shit. Like, you should be like, sorry, Shoto, but I can't allow you to die. Not even if for saving many moon. I, however, do indeed thank you for doing such a heroic, courageous thing. You have indeed done something great. However, this will not be the day in which you die. I will not let that happen. That's whenever Shigaraki's like, oh, we're not gonna let that happen, eh? And so he would just, try to pull a fast one and stick his hand straight through Shoto's freaking abdomen. Like, from behind. And just, like, come straight through, like. And, Izuku wouldn't be able to see this in time. And, well, that's what I meant by poking the bear. Now Izuku has that voice freaking, you punctured the freaking bear already, Shigaraki. Now you're just asking to freaking die. And what I mean by that is, well, cue the freaking music. As all of a sudden, it would be revealed. The true terror, bloodlust, killing intent behind all of it. Izuku would have been only letting a tiny bit out before. Whenever going up against Bakugo, This he would stand for. Shigaraki was now feeling the full force of the equivalent of freaking stairs for the for like freaking forlorn like freaking foot of a human against like an ant, like squishing an ant. Like literally, that's the only thing comparable to is a human foot squishing a tiny ant. That's how much killing intent. That's how much blood lust he would have against Shigaraki. Building up so much, so fast. Not even Venom was sure if he could contain himself. Something. I hate you, Tomura Shigaraki! Just barely able to gasp his own breaths, his own voice throughout the symbiote, reverberating this massive amount of energy. It would just be like freaking torturing for himself. Like, like nowhere to despair. Just Izuku inside. Shoto. He never hated Shoto. Not even he never even disliked him. All of a sudden now, Izuku, seeing what would happen to Shoto, and even slightly as he began to drift off into true despair, seeing Mini Moon begin to cry as he would slowly say, Mini Moon, don't. I will make this monster pay. And that's when all of a sudden, All Might, who had already made his entrance, would go plus ultra on the Nomu, finally sending it flying up into the air. Yet, that wasn't All Might's, main focus. His main focus would be the young man he remembers seeing before. Though, his composure and, various, existence felt like in several pieces upon his hand, very its very existence cutting him to pieces, tormenting him, as if All Might had done the unthinkable, as if he had let someone down, was unable to save someone. This torturous feeling, All Might, feeling it now everywhere around him, not just in the space of this very person, but now everywhere in the USJ he could feel it. This despair. As All Might would ask, who or what are you? As the person would simply say, me, uh, we are Venom. As understanding as I am, I must eventually die off in despair. As all things, as all beings, living beings, must eventually die. I'm sure you know that truth all too well, Toshinori. And then all of a sudden, the symbiote would just recede back into Izuku. And finally, All Might would see Izuku unconscious. Boy. And Izuku would then begin to stir, thinking something to be wrong. Izuku would then begin to wake up, and realize freaking 10 minutes is freaking seconds. Like freaking hero life. Hero life itself. It kills you inside, is what Izuku is thinking right now. It was killing him inside, seeing what happened to Shoto. However, he would then begin to hear something. Then he would begin to see something. Minimoon, using her quirk on Shoto. Izuku really didn't know the in and outs of Minimoon's quirk. Moon Prism Power. That's whenever Minimoon would say, Moon Prism Power Activate! And that's whenever All Might would be like, what? You'd just be like, Nani? She then would recreate her wand. Then several more wands would appear as they were to be absorbed into the original. Then a pink dome of light then began to surround Shoto's incapacitated body. Izuku seeing the hole through Shoto's abdomen, thinking that all hope was lost. But then, the unthinkable would then begin to happen. There was nothing that could have prepared any of them for this. Moon Prism Power Activate! An eruption of great power. The Sailor Scouts, Sailor Moon, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Venus, Sailor Mars, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Saturn, Sailor Uranus, Sailor frickin' Neptune, and frickin' Sailor frickin' Pluto. All of them after images of each Sailor Scout holding their wands out in unison with Sailor Moon's wand, as she would shout once again, Sun Moon Prism Power Activate! Moon! Mercury! Venus! Mars! Jupiter! Saturn! Uranus! Neptune! Pluto! Sailor Prism Power Activate! And then, all of a sudden, the hole would close up as the barrier still continues to stay, as every sailor sailed after image of them would soon begin to fade. However, the power emitting from the original Minimoon wand would not fade. Not until the wound was completely healed. Not until Minimoon was sure that Shoto was going to be alright. And the face freaking physicals of his freaking eyes twitching she just would just jump up in the air out of happiness as the villains would realize that they had pretty much lost. With All Might there, the Nomu gone, they would just instantly retreat as Mini-Moon, who would try to go after Shigaraki, would then be stopped by not just Izuku's arm, but out of both of their surprise, Shoto's arm, saying, "No, no." Izuku thinking, "Holy shit, that actually worked." And Mini-Moon just burying her face in his chest. Shoto would now understand. And for the first time, what seemed like forever, his fire would flare up. He would exclaim that even though he hates his father with such a great passion, as all of the elements and freaking moon at freaking puns, like as one, like she hates him that bad, like Shoto hates him that bad, but even though he hates him that much, even all that hatred, even with all that hatred buried deep down inside of him, all it melted away by the kindness from Mini-Moon. And Shoto could even think for one second that he saw an afterimage of someone, a tuxedo mask, though he wasn't really all that sure. I mean, he did just get healed back from what could have been something that killed him. However, Mini-Moon would just be, in bliss, knowing that Shoto was alive. And Shoto would, he would basically be considered free from all of his pain, or at least most of it. He'd be able to find a way to be happy. All because of this little freaking shit, Mini-Moon, that got into his life. She's freaking fair, like, basically impaled him inside with kindness. Moon Prism freaking power freaking badassery. That's what I call it. Shoto, realizing now, he was saved by Mini-Moon's power. Her power over not hatred, but her power over love. So, indeed, a lot of things about Shoto would, sort of change a lot earlier on than in canon. If you consider, the interchangeables in between arcs a lot earlier on. But they would indeed change earlier on. Instead of the sports festival, it would indeed be the USJ, in which Shoto finally, was able to, get his shit together. And not only that, but finally accepting, actually asking Mini-Moon if she would want, after all of this shit blew over, if she would want to go out on a date with him. Mini-Moon literally freaking faints at this statement. Not only has she basically, she basically drained herself of all of her power. So no wonder she would freaking faint. After draining herself of all of her freaking power just to save his life, and then he wants to go out on a date with her? I mean, you can already tell that she has a crush on him, but Jesus Christ. And so, whenever hearing this, and Shoto seeing that she basically just fainted, he understands why. He thinks he understands why. And, well, Shoto, he probably understands that had she still been alive, I mean, not really alive, but had she still been conscious, she probably would have said yes. And, well, her unconscious body, Shoto would merely just tell All Might, who was going to be the one, taking her unconscious body out of the USJ. He would tell All Might that this, and he would just find a rose and, pluck it. This is for her. A rose with a little paper scribble on Shoto that all this, like, freaking trouble I'm reading, all of it, you fixed it. You officially turned my entire life upside down, and I couldn't thank you anymore. From Shoto Todoroki. Basically, Shoto's way of showing that he appreciates the help of fixing his problem. Now, no matter what from his dad that he gets, the shit that he's going to get from his dad, he's not going to care. Because, Many Moon is someone who he actually does want to be friends with. Many Moon to him is his friend. And so Shoto just writing that she had fixed his life, and he would even say something to Izuku that he doesn't have to bare his teeth at everything frickin' frack. Basically, he would just be like shaking Izuku around and be like, you didn't have to do that, get me all worried about you because of the fact that you got yourself in the middle of impending doom. And then Izuku would be like, tell yourself that, man. I mean, I was actually pretty worried. And Shoto would be like, wait, you were worried? And then Izuku would just be like, oh my god, Shoto, you're an idiot. Of course I was worried. Why else do you think I would have done what I did? Just because freaking paint dry? Of course I was worried about you. And I'm pretty sure that Many Moon's worried about you too. And I'm pretty sure she was gonna like the fact that you gave her that rose. If he doesn't faint first, faint again, you know what I mean? Shoto just being like, man, you guys are the best. Even whenever you're kicking my ass, you're making me feel like all of these emotions. You're making me feel. You're my freaking best friends. It's official. Shoto Todoroki, basically, his entire freaking life has been turned upside down, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style. And that is indeed where I am going to be leaving it off right now for you guys. I'm the analysis because I am the Dark Shadow Maverick, and the Dark Shadow Maverick is OUT out of here, you boys. Bye! And yes, this is the Japanese opening to Sailor Moon. It was the 1 hour version, so I could have it on for however long I wanted it to be on. So, just had to deal with the Japanese. We can't actually understand what they're saying unless you're Japanese yourself, but whatever. Alan Zianadas' Dark Shadow Maverick is OUT out of here. Yeah, boys. Bye.